Okay, this is the unknown mechanic here, and I've got some useful information on repairing guide bars. And we're going to be replacing a sprocket nose today. This customer bought the bar and used it one time and bent the nose. And this belongs to Terry Meniscus. Okay, well, we're going to replace his sprocket nose. Let's take this out and take a look. Okay. All right, here we go. Take a look here. And you can see that the sprocket nose has been pinched and then pried open. And we've got two broken rivets here, so this nose is worthless. This is what's called an ES Roll-O-Matic, and RSN stands for Replaceable Sprocket Nose, and that means that we can replace this part and there's no damage to the bar body. The bar body is not bent, and then it'll be as good as new. Okay, we'll bring you in for a little bit for a bit of computer work here. Let's see, so we're in the parts lookup, and we pick chainsaws, and then we pick guide bars, and we'll take a look at ES404 right there, and this is a 41-inch, and yeah, that's the right part number. Okay. It doesn't have a nose number there. And we're going to go to okay, number 1. Okay, so that's the part number for the replacement nose is 3003-650-2538, and that's what I've got here. I have one of these in stock, and put this up. Comes with 3 rivets. Okay. And we can also go to Documents and pick the repair manual. And I reviewed this, and what they're recommending, this repair manual covers all the bars that Stihl makes, but we're just dealing with removing and replacing the sprocket nose, 3.3, 3.4, page 3. Okay. All right, so we're going to be drilling these 3 rivets out and removing the nose. And what they're recommending doing is using a 7.5 millimeter drill bit and drilling the head off of the rivet. And that, I have an alternate method that I've used with great success, and I'm going to be doing it a little different than the way the manual shows it. What I'm going to do is, this little drawing here. I am going to be using a much smaller drill bit. These are 5mm rivets, and I am going to be drilling with something that's probably 80 to 90% 5mm, and I'm going to be drilling not all the way through. I'm going to be removing this material. Okay, but I am not going to drill all the way through. And what that's going to allow me to do is nothing will come into contact with the bar and damage the hole in the bar. I am going to use a pin punch, and this rivet head will break right here, and it will drive the rivet, the remainder of the rivet will collapse and come through very easily. So that's the method that I like to use over this method. This method here, there's a risk that if you drill too deep, you will actually be drilling into the bar body. And you don't want to damage the bar body. So I'm going to back up here. And we'll just go to work. Got a bench block and a center punch. And the trick to this is you've got to punch exactly in the center. Okay, that'll be good for starters. And I'm going to make the dimples bigger. Okay, I'll bring you in. Okay, so that's what it looks like before I begin drilling. Got them center punched right in the middle. Now, if I were to turn this job over to my other techs, some really lousy techs that, you know, they couldn't do it if their life depended on it. It's Gomer and Dingus and Scratch. And, you know, undoubtedly, if I gave them this job, they would somehow drill, go crazy with the drill, go crazy with a sledgehammer, use a BFH on it, and destroy something. So this is the proper way to do it. To prevent the drill from walking, I am going to start with the center drill. And the center drill's very, very rigid, and it's not going to walk around on you a lot. So I would definitely recommend getting some center drills if you do a lot of this kind of work. Okay, that's the first step. Now I am going to switch from a center drill to a drill that's probably 4 millimeters. These are 5 millimeter rivets. I want a drill that is smaller than the rivet. And I am not going to drill all the way through. Use some cutting oil. Okay, so now the holes are about 3/4 of the way through, and they are slightly smaller than the diameter of the rivet. Okay, at this point, we are going to use the bench block, and we're going to make sure that there's a recess in the rivet is over some kind of a recess so that it has something to drive into. And we're going to break the rivets. All right, so the rivets are broken, and by doing it this way, there's no possibility of enlarging these holes bigger than 5 millimeters. If it's done carefully, this is the way it comes off. Got 3 brand new rivets. Here's the third one, was hiding. And of course, you know, when Terry brought this bar back after bending it in a tree, he immediately claimed warranty. And, you know, Stihl does not manufacture bars bent like that. So there's no way I'm going to warranty that. Stihl's not going to pay for that. So, you know, you don't use wedges and you don't know what you're doing and you bend up the bars, then you got to pay for it. That's the way it is. It does not matter which side you put the rivets in. Both sides of this brand new bar nose are countersunk. So you can put them in this side or you can put them in the other side. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this is prior to flattening the rivet heads out. The rivet heads have like a hollow spot which will help in the flattening out, flaring riveting process, so that the head of this rivet is going to flare out and match the countersink in the bar nose. And this is why you have you know, a ball peen hammer. You're going to use the peen end of it first, and then the flat end to finish it. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat on the rivets. Switch ends. Okay, and so that's the finished job. The one thing that you're going to want to do, especially with an old bar, and this is mentioned in the service manual here, okay, there could be a gap between the bar rails and of the bar body and the bar rails of the nose. And that would be particularly true if this bar were badly worn. This would be lower, and there would be like a jump, a gap, and that would have to be ground off. Okay, since this bar is brand new, I don't feel any gap at all, and so I don't think that's going to be necessary. This RSN is you know, made to a certain tolerance to match the width of a brand new bar, and it matches pretty close, so I'm not going to bother with that. Since we're talking about bars, I'm going to show you there are some service tools to rehab a worn bar. This one works pretty well. Oregon makes one of these too. This happens to be a Stihl. quite a bit. You have to go in the right direction, which is this way or this way. And this would file the rails. If there's a high one and a worn low one, it would file off the high one until you get down to the low one and then even them out. So that would make the rails the same height. Now, to account for a worn groove, these grooves will open up. I have a rail rolling tool. This is a STIhl tool, and it has two pretty big ball bearings on it, and it fits on the bar like so, and then the tension screw would apply tension to the bearings, and then you would roll this down the bar, and it would squeeze the bar rails back together. So that's how that works. That's not necessary on this bar because this bar is brand new. If you happen to roll it too tight and the chain won't go into the bar groove and slide back and forth, Stihl makes these tools. There's two of them. One is a 1.3 50 thousandths, and the other one is a 1.6 millimeter 63 thousandths. And those tools they're shown in the service manual here. There's the bar rail filing tool, and these are the bar groove spreading tools shown in the book there. You can put them into a pinched bar rail and drive them in with a hammer, and it'll open up the bar and get the chain to slide back and forth through there again. There's also the more older primitive method is Stihl makes these two. These happen to be Oregon, but one is a 50 thousandths and the other is a 63 thousandths, and you could put this in here and then use a hammer and pinch the bar rails that way if you didn't have a rail roller. The rail roller is superior. These are not quite as good. I'd like to use that. And other than that, that's pretty much a done job. This bar is ready to go back into service, and hope the hints and tips help. That's how you replace an RSN. So this will be wrapping it up for this episode of RSN Stihl bar nose replacement. This is the unknown mechanic with tips for the do-it-yourselfer. If you want to tackle this, that's how you do it. And it's also good information for the shop owner if he's got a bunch of Gilligans that work for him, like I do, like Dingus and Scratch and Gomer. I wouldn't turn over something like this, if they're going to just mess it up. So, and if you're an aspiring mechanic, you don't want to do a Dingus, a Gomer, or a Scratch. You want to do it this way, and it does not take that long, and there's no risk of making mistakes if you do use these methods. All right, that's it for today.